my name is Dan Oki, and I am one of the co-founders of Centsei. So excited for you to sit down to watch Josh and Louisa Kutterer talk about their experience in the Centsei financial program. Josh is a software developer. Louisa is a stay-at-home mom. They have 3 kids, and Josh and Louisa, I'm so excited that they decided to sit down and share their experience. You are not going to believe what they were able to do over the course of working with a financial coach at Centsei. Hope you enjoy. Josh and Louisa, welcome. Thank you so much for hopping on this call, and welcome to your Centsei experience call. We just, what was money like for you guys before you decided to join the Centsei Personal Finance Accelerator program?
I think the big thing is that we were not very intentional with our money. Just kind of money came in, we spent it as we felt. If we wanted something, we usually didn't think twice about it unless it was really big. And yeah, budgeting, we had tried it a few times and it never really stuck for very long. I think the big thing was just we were earning enough that we were able to feel comfortable without too much thought, but then I think led to a real false sense of security, to where it sometimes got to the point where we'd like check the bank account and realize like, oh shoot, like we're floating our credit cards right now and we don't actually have the money that we need.
Yeah, and we didn't really save. I think it was more, we didn't really get into debt before, but we also didn't really save. So it was kind of going through the motions, I would say.
At what moment did you feel like something needed to change? At what moment did you realize maybe we need to change something?
When we got in debt.
Yeah. And we had some larger expenses. Like we bought a car, we were finishing our basement, and we had to kind of rush to get it done before family was coming into town. And so I ended up taking on a lot more debt than we had planned for that. And then kind of on top of that, we did hit one of those moments where we realized, we're actually spending more every month now with the car payments and everything than we're actually earning, when you added up kids' activities and preschool and the car and all the other expenses, and just realizing like, if we don't change something now, we're gonna end up with even bigger problems.
Yeah.
So, that's a big realization to have when you're like, okay, things have been going good. It's not like you woke up every day trying to be irresponsible with money. It's just you're trying to go through life. And then here we are. Why did you decide coaching was going to be the solutionist? Why did you decide to spend money to learn how to save money per se?
I think like kind of what Josh mentioned earlier, like we had tried different apps and things like that, and kind of did like, okay, let's not spend money for 2 weeks so we can save some up or whatever. But we felt like we needed someone to come in, like a third party, to kind of keep us accountable and help us, and that's why we chose you guys.
Well, thank you. It's still a leap of faith, right? Like, because you don't know. It's like we're bringing a third party, but we don't know for sure that they're. It feels impossible because you've run the numbers so many times. What are they going to do that we don't already know? So think back to, I had the privilege of coaching y'all. Think back to the first 90 days of us working together when we were meeting pretty frequently. What do you feel like? What do you feel like the changes that happened even in that first 90 days were that maybe you weren't expecting or thinking, that you can think back to that, which was?
I think, the biggest change, or one of the biggest changes, was that we came closer to each other when it came to finances. That it was a really kind of disjointed, lack of collaboration before, where with Louisa coming from Germany and having a very different financial system there, both of us having completely different backgrounds with how we were raised and attitudes toward money and everything, It was really like, even with those budgeting apps, I was usually the one going in and looking and doing categorization or looking at the bank account or the credit cards and all of that. And there wasn't a lot that Louisa was participating in, or kind of without feeling overwhelmed by all the new information and how everything worked. And so even within those first 90 days, really having help to simplify all of the information out there, have a basic system that works, and was able to kind of divide the responsibility between the two of us, and not only explain things for her, but also like have her actively participate and have ownership of our finances together.
Yeah, definitely true. But also for me, like just what surprised me and helped a lot is just being aware of how we spent money, where we're coming from, when it, what Josh talks about, culture, or like how we were raised, like just creating awareness about how we think around money. I think that helped kind of set a good start.
Yeah.
So.
And that intentionality that we mentioned was lacking before. I think that's where it really started, is thinking about why are we doing the things that we're doing? Are these things that we actually want to prioritize when we're wanting to buy something, or do we want to prioritize getting out of debt? Are we willing to make the sacrifices? Are they worth it to us? And it really influencing all the things we were doing at that time. Of anytime we were going on Amazon or thinking about what we needed to get for shopping that week, that we had purpose to what we were doing, instead of just going through the motions and hoping that it worked out at the end of the month.
Yeah, so it wasn't just, what I love that you said is you didn't go to the financial results or the numbers. You're like, no, we came closer together. We own this more as a team, and we were. It wasn't just one of us was more intentional. We were intentional together, and then that yielded the changes that maybe we see in the numbers side. But your first statement wasn't like, look at everything we just accomplished. It was, we're stronger together. And not that you had a bad relationship before, but now our money side is a strength for our relationship, where it wasn't maybe as much before. Am I getting that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
So what have been the financial results that you've seen, if you feel willing to share that?
We paid off all of our debt, which is $50,000. So we're super grateful for that. That's amazing.
And I mean, even stepping back, I mean, we were like, I can't remember the exact number, but our expenses were, I think, like 1,000 higher than our income when we started. And so we were actually in the negative every month, and being able to turn that around to where each month we had extra left over, and then being able to really rapidly and aggressively put that toward the debt and pay it off faster than we would have ever expected.
Yeah, and part of that is that we get to pay our car off, which is amazing. So we don't have to worry about that. And that's kind of what I loved about Centsei too, is like focusing on one thing at a time. I thought that for me, that was great, to just like emotionally being able to just like check that off and be done with it. Yeah, I thought that was really helpful. And
And I mean, on top of the debt too, I mean, we paid off all the debt, but in addition to that, we also set money aside, where those non-monthly expenses, vacation and holidays and birthdays and all those things, where before we would just, when it came, you'd pay for it, and then if it was your car insurance coming up, then well, that month you had however many $100 less than the previous month. But yeah, that we were able to set aside a good amount for vacations and for all of those things, so that we didn't have to worry about them when those expenses came up, and could just focus on continuing to pay off the debt. So
But did you just say you started this negative $1,000 a month? You paid off 50 grand of debt, and you were able to save for Christmas, holidays, and everything that doesn't necessarily happen over the course of a month. And you did that all in the last 18 months.
Yes.
You guys are incredible. Way to go. I know you're not on here to say, look at us, but you know, really just congratulations. It's absolutely amazing.
and
And you did the work.
yeah, and I mean, the really cool thing is, and we definitely had some things that we had unexpected income that came in those 18 months that really helped with that debt as well. Even there where kind of we had these surprises of, hey, we can pay off more, our immediate thought was, hey, look at how much more we can pay toward the debt this month, instead of, oh, awesome, let's go buy a new couch or go on vacation because we got this big chunk of money that we can put toward it. So
yeah, it really kept us focused.
yeah,
that was super helpful.
so again, that attitude shift made all the difference there.
Yeah, because you had the system.
Right.
When the extra money came in, you knew exactly what to do with it, rather than it being diverted, or even just a small portion of that going off to pay for it. Yeah. Absolutely. It just poured gas on the fire. What difference do you feel like having a coach, having the third party made?
All the difference. I mean, that I think what we said earlier, why it didn't work before, is because we didn't have someone to keep us accountable. And just having someone to cheer us on along the way, like, you're doing good, to warn us, to remind us, like, come on, let's keep going, like, because we were not perfect. We were not doing our meetings every week like we should, but someone to tell us, okay, let's keep going. And that really helped. And it's about consistency. And that's why a coach was so helpful to keep us consistent.
And I remember, I don't even remember what the exact context was, but I remember having one coaching meeting where we were a little more negative about ourselves and kind of, we haven't been meeting as often, like she said, and that you really kind of flipped the script on us and said, and like, hold on a second, like, look at all these things that you have accomplished in the last month or whatever the case, like that you were able to help us see, like, oh yeah, no, there was progress that was being made, and not to give up, because we can keep making that progress and not get hung up on the little missteps or when life happened in between. So
yeah, it was just somebody who wasn't living it, able to look in the picture and provide some additional context to the situation.
Exactly.
What's been your favorite tool you've implemented from the system? All the stuff that we do, what's been your favorite one? I want to hear from each of you, and they can be different.
Definitely the weekly meetings have helped probably the most. Talking with one another, like keeping each other accountable, checking in with each other, being on the same page, and also just the app itself
Monarch.
is super helpful. Monarch. Super helpful to see in your hand, like, this is what I spend and this is where I shop the most. And for us, we could see with the app and with our meetings that we spend a lot of money on groceries with our family of 5. And we looked at that and saw that we could dial that back. And I think did a good job at that, and that helped a ton. So that's something that was really helpful.
Yeah. I mean, that first month, like, Louisa took it by the horns, really, and like started meal planning on at the beginning of the week, and then going shopping once for the week. And I think that first month we cut our grocery bill from $1,300 a month to $800 a month, like something crazy like that.
Yeah, it was several $100s. I remember that.
Yeah.
What's your favorite tool?
I think my favorite tool was just right at the beginning, sitting down and filling out that spreadsheet of this is where our money is going, and looking at every last thing, like how much is going to different subscriptions, what subscriptions do we have, how much are we spending on birthday parties, what yearly subscriptions do we have that we weren't thinking about, and yeah, being able to just have that extremely focused and specific and clear picture of where we were actually at. And then from that, then being able to set the goal of, okay, like this is what we have to make up now, and be able to figure out then, okay, what's our plan to be able to accomplish that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm throwing you some curveballs here, but I want to ask you this. What do you feel like the effect has been? You know, you have 3 children. What do you feel like the effect of this has been on your family? It's obviously strengthened your marriage, but how do you feel like this has changed maybe your family dynamic and outlook for the future? Maybe it hasn't, but maybe it has in some ways. What would you say to that?
We say to the kids a lot more, we're trying not to spend so much money right now, which I don't know if we maybe say it too much, but we have just, I think we've been hopefully helping our kids to start to develop that same attitude of let's not just spend the money because we have it, and that it's worth giving up something temporarily or putting something off because it doesn't fit what your goals are right now, or what your priorities are. And yeah, I mean, we've been open with our kids about, hey, we were trying to pay off this debt and we don't want to spend all this money so that we can get out of that burden more quickly and be free of that, and that we can save and have that security at home, that we don't need to worry about money.
I mean, I have definitely seen that in the kids, as I go shopping with them very often, and I have seen them say, you know what, I want to save my money for something that I really want. Instead of like, oh, today I want this candy or, whatever. Where they really have said, no, I'm just gonna wait and gonna save up. And that even with our 5-year-old. So, and I think that is, I mean, we know that in parenting in general, like that we should be examples, and they see it in every area of what we're doing. So hopefully.
You're saying, sorry, I didn't mean
No, go ahead.
Yeah, they picked up on we're holding off on some things because we have something else that we're trying to work towards. So they're learning delayed gratification because you're practicing it.
Yes, definitely.
And I think
at least you see evidences of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think just that not being as focused on stuff, that where we, going back to that intentionality, that we're able to show them like, hey, like we would rather spend money on being able to go to the water park together, or that we plan a family road trip, those kind of things, rather than spending money on stuff that clutters the house at the end. Which isn't to say like we, of course, that we don't ever buy frivolous things, but just that we're choosing to do that.
Yeah, being more intentional about things.
So
that's amazing. What do you feel like? So was it worth it to pay off the debt? Was it worth it to? Does it feel good to pay off $50,000?
Absolutely.
100%.
Yes. Yeah, feels really good. It feels like we can make a new start now, and look forward to things, because debt always will keep you kind of in the past. So No, it feels great.
What do you feel freer to do as you look towards the future? What do you feel like has opened up? And that doesn't mean, all of a sudden opportunities are falling out of the sky, but how do you feel like your perspective on the future now that you don't have to worry about this anymore has changed?
I mean, the nice thing is that those changes, overall changes that we've made to our cash flow still carry over now. So like all that money that we were putting toward the debt and all those changes we were making so that we had that extra money, they don't go away now. I mean, we've talked about like the monthly allowance we have for ourselves, for just fun money. We bumped that up a little bit after we paid off the debt because we have
Because you
a little
can.
bit more room. Like it's worth celebrating, right? And but yeah, just knowing that, well, first of all, to have an emergency fund and have that available. But I mean, we would love to be able to go on vacation more and travel more and do fun things. And
I mean, that's something you asked us at the beginning, like, what are your dreams? And dream big. And those are things that are possible. Because we don't have that debt anymore and that are in the future. And I'm super excited to learn more about like investing and all those things with you guys. To really put that money to use. And
question. What would you tell someone, there may be people or couples who are watching this video thinking that's great, but my situation looks different than yours. I'm not you. What would you tell someone who's like, I want to do something similar, but I'm on the fence. I don't know if I feel like this is possible. What would you tell them?
We understand. We've been there. No, for real though, like this is something we talked about, like, but that we, it seems kind of backwards to spend money on something where we have to save money, but in the end, we would say it was all worth it. Because we were handed specific tools and a system and a plan and goals, and a coach that kept us accountable. And it's kind of like going to the gym and not really knowing what to do, but you want to, be more toned or whatever, lose weight, but without having a plan, that's really hard to do. And I think that's the same thing about finances, about money. And it makes all the difference to have that system and to have someone keep you accountable.
Yeah, I think going into it, there was just that thought of like, I could do this myself. Like I can go online, I can look up budgeting tools, and I have an app subscription, and the knowledge is all available. I don't think the knowledge is what we signed up for. I mean, the knowledge and the learning modules and the recordings and everything, those are super helpful just for putting it in a really digestible place for us.
And connecting it all together, it's like you learn bits and pieces here, but what you guys did is like how they play together and how they connect, and that's super helpful.
And just having someone where you found this system that works, and it works well, and it's not overwhelming. It's simple and straightforward. It's something where, like, for us, and we would get like 3 months behind on our transaction categorization before, because we had millions of different categories that we're trying to shove everything into, and it was just like at some point you would miss a few weeks and like it's over.
Declare
like, never going
bankruptcy.
back to it.
Yeah.
And this, it was just something, it was easy for us to do and to stick with, and if you missed something, it was easy to get back onto it. And then especially having a coach there that can encourage you to jump right back in and keep you going and answer questions that we had of, is it a good idea to, when our car was having problems, to spend the money on fixing an old car versus buying a used car to replace it. And yeah, and then on top of everything else, like we've said a few times, just the accountability, having someone that we knew was going to ask us at our next coaching call, like, hey, have you been sticking to it? And just, yeah, knowing that you're going to be having that conversation is just good extra motivation to actually do it. So,
and I mean, in the end, we paid off that money, so definitely worth it.
Right. So
yeah,
it's a long-winded way of saying it was, hesitation at first. Is it really going to be worth it? Do we want to put this investment in? But 100% knowing that it was worth it and paid off, not just financially, like we've said, but our whole attitudes and relationship and interaction with money 100% changed for the better. So
that sounds like a win to me. Awesome, guys. Well, congratulations on being debt free. We're having this system and the future looks really bright, and we've got a lot of good things to keep working on and doing. So thanks for your time and just sharing your story, because it's inspiring. And I hope you guys have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dan.